So I'm sure I've seen a story like this before. A mere man walking amongst other men performs miracles, does a lot of good things, similar to winning a Premier League after just being on the cusp of relegation. But this man, a few years ago, he was then betrayed. I think, what was it I read it in? Oh yeah, the Bible. So now we have another version of it happening in 2017. Claudio Ranieri sacked as Leicester City manager. Just sent shockwaves through the internet. Even the most notable Leicester City fans, Gary Lineker being one of them, sending out a tweet that has just circulated worldwide. I will read it to you right now as Jason throws it up on the screen. Basically says, after all that Claudio Ranieri has done for Leicester City, to sack him now is inexplicable, unforgivable and gut-wrenchingly sad. And I echoed that very much so. And another kind of bold comment, the sacking of Ranieri is one of the most disgraceful, better yet, disgusting acts ever in football. I feel sick for him. So just to give you some context as to why I think it is that way, I have commented that only a month ago he won the FIFA World Manager of the Year, to then be sacked a month later. There's so many reasons that go into this. The first one is obviously the fact that he defied logic and won Leicester City the Premier League a year after just being on the cusp of relegation. It's going to be largely known, until someone beats it, as the most incredible act in sports history. Nothing compares to it. And he orchestrated that. It was his attitude, his confidence in his players to not have to worry about money. He didn't buy a title. He didn't go out there with the millions and bring in all these players that were world class to end up delivering them a title, which Chelsea have done in the past, Manchester City have done in the past, Manchester United, Arsenal. He didn't do that. He defined what football is all about: heart, passion, camaraderie, teamwork. All of that was just thrown out the window because they're going through a rough patch. So let me remind you what Leicester City is about. Leicester City is not about winning the Premier League. That was a huge spike in their history. But they are comfortable in the chaos. They're used to fighting relegation. They're used to being a club that struggles. So to sack him for going through, which many other managers are expected to go through as a manager of Leicester City, is despicable. Because he's helped them achieve greatness. So you don't have confidence that he can help you through this rough patch and salvage your season? Because who else is going to do it with 13 games left? Who else is going to do that? Yes, a new manager can maybe provide a new spark and help you and push forward. This is why I hated the decision to sack Jose Mourinho last year, another manager who won the Premier League. But at least Chelsea did it in December, giving a new manager a transfer window to try and get some players in. 6 months at least to try and steady the ship. I thought it was a despicable decision, but it made some sense in that retrospect. This doesn't make sense at all. Not at all. 13 games to turn a season around, and you're going with a quarter-final of the Champions League possible, and you sack him, man. Sackless pieces of shit. Those are that made that decision. Sackless. Go ahead, define it in the comments. Tell me that no man is bigger than the team. Tell me that. But also tell me who else has done what Claudio Ranieri has done. Because no one in history has ever done it. No one. So yes, we can make an exception for Claudio Ranieri because he is an exception to the rule. This club are an exception. Stop categorising them as if they're Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester City, anyone in the Premier League. They're different. They're separate. Because they won the Premier League last season. Are you people stupid that are arguing back with me on this? It's so baffling, man. And you might be like, another thing that I've seen in the comments when I get passionate on these clips, are you even a fan of Arsenal? Everyone should be fans of Leicester City. But now, what the board and those spineless individuals have now done is they've turned a team that everyone wanted to be a fan of, everybody wanted to be part of, now just the same as any other team. Same as any other business-orientated, winning mentality team. And I understand it. It's a business. You want to win games. But you think a new manager is going to come in and suddenly turn everyone around, turn the season around, turn the players around, and suddenly realize that this team are still the same Premier League competing team that they were? No. Yeah, you might survive relegation, but you know, a lot of people are now rooting for Leicester City to be relegated. I don't know if I'm at that point yet, because I still believe there's a lot of those players didn't want to see this happen. I don't know if it's maybe just the optimism in me. I just don't want to believe that it's a dressing room full of snakes. Very similar to what happened with Jose Mourinho and the way that the dressing room turned against him. I just don't believe that that's part of Ranieri's system and the core values that he installed upon his players. I think they weren't playing the same. They lost a crucial member of the team N'Golo Kante, they didn't do the best job of replacing him. And the team has fell by the wayside. But do you know what? Against Sevilla, I saw signs of the old Leicester City. I saw them somewhat rejuvenated, looking confident, looking like they can compete, looking like they might achieve history by going into the last 16 going further in the Champions League to the quarterfinals, man. Like that was his sights. He's had his sights set in the quarterfinals. And I know this sounds like I'm reading a eulogy, but it almost feels that way. I don't think anything could be worse than this in 2017. It may be the peak of horror in terms of the sporting world. Sacking a manager who delivered you a Premier League title against 5,000 to 1 odds. And obviously there's some reaction that I have to go to, which is hilarious, specifically when it involves Arsene Wenger. And it posted all the managers. So Pellegrini sacked after winning the Premier League. Jose Mourinho sacked after winning the Premier League. Mancini sacked after winning the Premier League. Ranieri now sacked after winning the Premier League. And the picture of Arsene Wenger, the answer is just don't win a league. Or don't win it in a long time. Absurd. Football is absurd. Ran by money. Always will be. And people are telling me also that the billionaires invested a lot of their money in. It's not about them. It's about just winning. Well, that's the same thing to me. Because if you sack a manager in amidst a struggling situation, you feel like he's to blame. And I feel like in this situation, they're just wanting him to be the scapegoat and him to be the person to be the problem, and then everything else can be fixed. But I don't know. The favourite to take over at the moment is Roberto Mancini. Another manager who's probably all too familiar with a situation like Claudio Ranieri's at the moment, where he achieved something great, but still wasn't spared the harsh reality of the Premier League. It is the most ruthless league in the world. Not even the highest accomplishment can save you from the wrath of big business owners who want to kind of make a small change in order to deflect away from issues that are maybe throughout the team. So I feel sick for Ranieri. I know there's some people that feel like it was business as usual, but no, he's exempt. He's exempt to the rule, and I hope he goes on to better things. I really do. And as for Leicester, we'll see what happens. Comment section below. Let us know what you think. Francis_Maxwell. Francis M. Maxwell on Twitter. Francis M. Maxwell on Instagram. See what's happened? It's just messed up my words. Don't even know what I'm saying. I'm heading home.